Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
Fanboy.
Fanboy,
fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
All right, Matt, you went from Nickelodeon kid to George Lopez's son-in-law. Third season, Lopez versus Lopez's Quinten. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much. What a change.
Listen, looks like you guys are having a lot of fun on this series. George Lopez is obviously, world famous, world renowned comic playing your father-in-law. There's got to be moments where, he'll slip in a one-liner that just breaks the entire set, and you're just like, oh man, we got to regroup. And then same with Al too, because Al's also a stand-up.
Yeah, there's at least one or two times every episode where we're in front of the audience or we're, just actually shooting, and he doesn't ever tell us what he's going to do, but he's had it planned, and he'll just drop some ridiculous line. And we're all, because it's multicam, it's not like it's just his coverage. Like, we all have to try our best to stay in it. And this season specifically has felt a lot more kind of loose and free, and everybody's very much settled into their roles and stuff. And so there's been a lot more fun kind of being tossed around, and yeah, it gets pretty difficult, not breaking character.
Well, also the fact that you got to work with Bryce Gonzalez, who plays your son Chance, that's turning 9 in the show and is becoming a rebellious little brat.
Yes, he's also acting as no. He's that kid. I mean, I've said it since day one. I think he is the greatest child actor that has ever graced the screen anywhere. I mean, his comedic timing alone is that. I always make the joke that he's actually like 36, and we all are just fooled by it, because he's the smartest, funniest, kindest kid that there's ever been. And so we really lucked out with him, and every week it gets better and better. We play games at lunch and we hang out, and it's just been a really cool, going from Nickelodeon to being a dad on television has been a weird change. But it's kind of segued into real life where, I get to spend a lot of time with him, and it's really something special. He's a great kid.
Right. So you're saying he's really Baby Herman from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Exactly. Yes. Spot on.
He's got his cigars in the back and everything. No, man. Listen, when you get to do a show like this, like you were on Nick for quite a while, you're used to being on set and being a part of an ensemble cast that has been together for multiple seasons. But now as a grown-up, and you get to do it in this capacity and with NBC on top of it, like, what is it like from day one of the table read, and you're like, we might have something here, 2 episodes in, all right, we kind of got something. And then by the end of season 1, you get your footing, and now here you are, season 3, and it's like, oh, I get to go back to work on the NBC lot and just, try to break each other.
Yeah, when I did Nickelodeon, I had just turned 18, and I did that from like 18 to 2021. And I think as a kid, you take it for granted a bit, because you're not used to work and you're not used to doing stuff like that. So you wake up halfway through the season, you're like, oh, okay, I'm over it. Like, this is it. And all I wanted to do was go to single cam and do something that was in single cam. And when it wrapped and I went to single cam, within 2 days, I was like, what have I done? Multicam is the greatest place in the world. What have I done? So I've been chasing that ever since I was 21. So when this came around, it was like the moment I got it, the moment we got picked up, I was like, okay, every day we wake up and we thank the universe for allowing us to do this. And it really, I mean, especially because it was still during, COVID, the chemistry read was done over my cell phone in a hotel room. Like, doing a chemistry read with George and Mayan on a screen this big was so weird. But usually you take 8 or 9 episodes to really get in the swing, but we were there by like episode 3. And it was like, it's been really something special where, everybody always says, oh, I have a new family and stuff, but it really was like we had grown up together, and we had done this all together. And Mayan, with it being her first thing, and she had grown up watching me and stuff, like, I was finally back doing what I wanted to do. And I feel like her and I became this really good, which then helped with chemistry. And it's just been such a special ride, because I hate to say it feels easy, but it is. Like, we're all exactly where we should be, doing exactly what we should be doing.
Right. And how much has your Spanish improved trying to figure out how much George is bad mouthing you behind the scenes?
It's funny. I took Duolingo for like a year, and I'm just not good at picking up languages. I can't do it. Uh, so if it's written on a piece of paper, I can do it just fine. The thing I will say is I'm starting to understand it a lot more. Like if somebody's just speaking Spanish in front of me, I can pick up pretty much what they're saying at all times, just based on how many times I've heard all of the words and figured that out. So I can't speak it, but I'm starting to understand it a lot more, which has made it to where people don't say as many bad things about me because I know.
You figured it out. You're like, he's on the inside now.
Yep.
Yeah. When like Nickelodeon, again, you were young, you were having fun. It was a family friendly show. This is still a family show. It's primetime NBC, returning October 18th. Now that you're the adult and you get to play the adult, and you said, are imitating life in that regard, how have you reflected back on those days and then enhanced your performance now on Lopez versus Lopez?
Well, it's funny because I've always said since we started this that like it feels like me as a person is progressing in the same speed that Quinten is as a character. And I was thinking about it earlier when I was thinking about these questions and stuff, and I was like, it's kind of weird. I'm 34 years old now, and I feel like I just grew up in the like when this show started, I really started to grow up and feel confidence myself and feel like I really belonged. And so it's been an incredible learning experience just in believing myself and trusting my abilities and knowing, I'm as lucky to be here as they are to have me. And that was I don't think I ever really felt that kind of worth before this show came along. So this I say it all the time, but like this, I think this show really kind of saved my life and saved my belief in my dream and whether it was attainable or not. And all of the other projects, especially Nickelodeon, I mean, it taught me how to be on set and how to treat everybody and how to prepare and be prepared at all times. And so it's been one of those things where it's just like I'm just in like the first time ever, I think I'm just in a great groove in life and I'm just riding that wave.
I dig it. Listen, one of the issues this season is Quinten and Maya planning their wedding. What were some of like the most outlandish wedding plan ideas that were tossed around in the writers' room? And some of the stuff that you guys came up with as cast members going, this would be absolutely ridiculous for either someone to suggest or actually put in their wedding.
So without giving too much away, the opening of our season answers those questions. The opening episode of our season is about Rosie and George kind of wanting to plan our wedding for us. And we see George's idea of what our wedding would be in a kind of a fantasy sequence. And so everything that you just asked is literally answered in the first like 4 minutes of the season opener. But it's so far this season has really just been a constant battle of like Mayan and I trying to get what we want, but Rosie and George, it's the first time they've ever had a child getting married, and so they want it to be their own thing as well. So it's just a constant battle of like who's going to win out on the ideas, who's going to get their wedding. Is it going to end up being a George and Rosie wedding, or is it going to be Quinten and Mayan's perfect wedding?
All right, so let's put the spin on that for real life. What's the worst idea that you've been pitched in your relationship that if you guys get married, this is what you guys should do, and you just kind of like have to grit your teeth and smile?
Pretty much any destination wedding. Like if the wedding is not just in my backyard, I don't want to do it because it's so much planning. I mean, Selenis is actually getting married in the next week, and I keep every time I'm like, "Hey, so how's it going?" She's like, "Not now." It's just like we don't talk about the wedding until the wedding is done because it's just so much planning. There's so many things you have to get done. It's like I would rather just like invite my mother and a couple other people, get it done. It's done, and that's it. But yeah, like a destination wedding, things like that, you just put people out. It's too much.
That's a fair assessment. I think would be like if you brought a clown to a wedding, or it was the clown that was performing the wedding, that would be like the most terrifying suggestion.
Unfortunately, I am that clown, so that's always part of the idea. I will be that person at the wedding.
Full white face, red nose, everything.
Absolutely, I've got it in the closet. It's ready to go.
Fantastic, man. Hey, Halloween's around the corner, just 2 weeks after the premiere on the 18th.
There you go.
Yeah. Looks like you guys are having a great time. Everybody seems to be having fun. The laughs keep coming. The chemistry is there. Everybody has really gotten into their groove and the flow of everything. How would you like to see Quinten progress towards the end of this season, leading into season 4?
I think Quinten, at least how I have felt about it, is Quinten is feeling more and more part of the family, which means he is more comfortable with the way he talks to everybody. And the first 2 seasons he was always very standoffish and just kind of went along with everything. Whereas this season it feels like Quinten's finally standing up for himself and not doing things just to please everybody else. So I'm enjoying where that direction is going, and I'm hoping the longer we go, the more it becomes a thing where, like, when George is insulting me, I'm insulting him back, and it's just a kind of back and forth. This he knows this is his house, it's not George's house, and treating it as such. So
I dig it, man. Where can we find you on social media if we want to continue the conversation about season 3 of Lopez versus Lopez?
I'm only on Instagram. I'm 34, so I'm getting older, and it's too much to handle everything. So I'm only on Instagram. It's just my name, at Matt Shively. And I usually am posting on there most of the time.
Listen, Matt, congratulations on season 3 coming October 18th to NBC and later on Peacock. It's been a fun ride. It's going to be interesting to see how the show develops. Maybe one day George's character will actually tell Quinten he's proud of him.
I've got my fingers crossed.
That's like the way the series ends. The way, like, Ross and Rachel had to, like, finally admit that they're going to get married. Quinten gets the "I'm proud of you."
Yeah, rather than she got off the plane, he said he's proud of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, man, thank you so much. Congratulations, October 18th, Lopez versus Lopez on NBC. Following up on Peacock later on from there. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you, man.